Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with none other than Billy Joe Saunders. Billy, had a nice little workout in there.
I see you doing some pads with Kelly. Look sharp. You couldn't act the body shots. One little body shot, and I see on your face you didn't want any more.
First of all, you were actually punching me. You punched me in the stomach, and I'm in pain.
Michelle, listen, if you come to this gym, you have to be put through it. I don't think she can handle it, to be honest with you. I don't think she's built for it.
But to be fair, I legit thought like we were just gonna it was like boom, and right in my stomach, took my air out.
Well, I've been working on the body shots. I tried to double it up, but it wasn't meant to be. Killer saved you. Killer saved you. You look sharp though. You look very strong. Very, very strong. Gonna have to get you a match with Nicola Adams or someone, or what's her name, Katie Taylor. We'll get you in there, but.
How do you think I'd fare against you in 3 rounds of, sparring?
Michelle, I'll batter you bad.
You would seriously hit me, Billy.
Yeah. This little drop onto the body, boom.
It's so messed up how you laughed when you just said that, like as if you just imagined having some sort of enjoyment.
I'll just put one there just to see, test your character. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you work in the fight game, you have to be tested, do you know what I'm saying? You have to be tested.
I'm going to have to wear headgear next time then. I can't be messing this up.
I won't hit you in the face, I'll just hit you to the body, that's all. Just to the body.
Oh my God, you're terrible.
I know.
Anyways, what's going on, Bill? What's up?
Not a lot, just in training for Martin Murray for the 14th of April. Just did a little light workout today, me and Calbrick, as you see. Getting ready, been chilling today with Jews. A little bit of shopping. A little bit of boredom really kicking in. That's what happens in camp. You get a little bit bored. Sometimes you can get up to mischief. I'll get up to a little bit of mischief when I'm bored, but you're keeping me very busy, so giving you a little bit of good footage here, a little bit of me time here. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Rob?
To be fair, though, you do seem a lot more tame now than I think you've ever been. Would you say that that's because of being, around the guys that you're around, like Kel and Kid Galahad, or what would you exactly credit that for? Because it seems like you are sort of, I don't know, maybe maturing.
Yeah, that's what you sound. I'm immature. No,
well, you are 28. You're still growing into who you are. Yeah.
I think what it is, now where I get trained that hard, I've got no more energy to have a bit of a bubble, really. I think my bubble's been popped at every single training session. Dom does it on purpose. Don't stop me from getting in, driving to Meadowhall though, and having a little walk around, just talking shit to people, like I'm saying. So, I think that's this sort of persona around this gym. It fits in where everyone's more or less the same. We all like a laugh, we all like a giggle, but when it comes to the serious stuff, we'll get down to work.
Is it true that you have to be locked in your room in the attic at the Galapad? At
the Galapad, listen, I don't get locked in there, but it's the best place for me. It's the best. It's where I get ready for all my fights, in the Galapad in the loft. I mean, it's overlooking the M1, so it's a good view there. You can see all the lorries driving past. When you're bored, you can just count the red lorries. Do you remember that game when you used to be a little kid? That's what happens. That's the sort of life I'm living at the minute. I haven't got a life actually at the minute. I'm just pure. I'm just a boxing geek at the moment. That's all I am. Gym. I don't look at it at the minute, but I am.
Bill, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you can't sleep. Everyone's asleep. You're the mischievous type. What type of pranks would you be pulling on the guys while they're asleep?
I don't pull no... For one, there's only a few people. Kel, you can't pull a prank on him because he don't pull a prank on him. Barry, he's the man of the LCC's L, so I don't pull a prank on him. Greg now, I can pull pranks on him, but it's not very good because Greg cooks my food. Do you know what I'm saying?
Smart, yeah.
So I can't really pull any pranks on him.
Never mess with the person.
Never mess with the chef. Yeah, never, ever. Because you might be eating spit or you might be eating something because he's disgusting. He's very unhygienic as it is, and I don't want him to get any worse, especially with my food. So at the minute, I'm not pulling no pranks on no one, with nobody at all. Just been having a little scale on Twitter. So having a few comments, little digs, little pokes, and that's about it really. That's all I do really.
I was going to say, you know what? You're the type of person that you will forever haunt the person you beat. Because I see that you're still sort of tweeting David Lemieux. You still tweet Chris Eubank Jr. You're just sort of picking at them. Sometimes it might seem like you're kicking them while they're down, but it's in good humor on your part, I guess.
I probably am kicking them while they're down, to be honest with you, because I know if the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be doing the same to me, and they don't give me the credit that I deserve for beating them. So I got the win, and I. So I just David Lemieux, he's a complete arsehole, isn't he? Let's face it. He's a typical French Canadian.
What do you mean?
Well, listen. When I went to Quebec, they were very, very hostile people. They were booing, and they were just calling any name they could think of. Even when you walked into the shop, they were very, not everybody, but most of them ignorant people. Different than Toronto. I love Toronto. Toronto was good. So I just put little tweets out and then give them little jibs. And Eubank, he deserves it. He calls it himself. Not only me, the whole nation's giving him jibs. So I just joined the gravy train.
So speaking of that fight, what were your initial thoughts? Like when you saw what was happening?
I knew what would happen. I always said I had a good bet on George Groves as it goes. So I knew what would happen as long as George Groves more or less executed the same sort of plan he did with Carl Froch. And, you know, he didn't need to be 4% of that sort of performance because he handled him with a jab all night. Mm-hmm. He threw that many jabs, his shoulder popped out. So that's all he needed to do was a jab. Eubank's very limited. He's very limited. He's very arrogant, and he will never learn from it. So will he get any better? No. Do I think Naz was right? 95%, yeah.
Do you think he should just hang up the gloves, retire? That's it.
Well, I personally think that if he gets in there, if he takes punishment how he did like at this level, like he did against George Groves, then it could be very damaging for his health. Mm. You know, he took a lot of damage there. He took a lot of damage. I mean, those headshots were significant, and they will play a factor in a few years to come.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on what happened, what would you have if you were in his corner? If you were his trainer, what would you have told him?
Told Eubank?
Eubank, yeah.
I probably would have slapped him and told him to liven up. But no matter what any trainer would have told him or anybody would have advised him to do, he's not good enough to execute the sort of game plan he needed. I mean, he's good at looking good at a punch bag that don't move and throwing a million shots at it. Brilliant, lovely. He should join the circus because, you know, that's all he's going to achieve. Because he will never ever, I've said it once in interviews, I'll say it again, he'll never be world champion. He hasn't got what it takes. You know, you've got to be able to adapt to people, fight, box, get rough, do what you need to do. Not get out and say, oh, George rammed the head in and whatnot else. Just get on with it. It's a fight. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not tickling each other.
Billy, you've always said that when you fought him, you weren't at your best. Physically, you just really didn't train at your best. Now, being where you are at this moment, do you think that you would have been able to just completely demolish him and stop him?
I personally think, listen, I've always said it, someone gets in there with a little bit of feet work with him, he'd get lost. I've always said it, and I trained for 6 weeks with him when I was with Jimmy Tibbs, and we didn't know if we was fighting or not because he was playing the game of he's fighting, then he's not fighting, and a load of rubbish. But if I boxed him now, it'd be a completely different story. But, you know, he's got a long way to come back. He can't just, because of his dad's name, jump in with a big name, jump in for an, oh, well, I'll go back down to middleweight now and fight for a while. So boxing don't really work like that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm waiting now for my big shot, my big unification. So we'll see what happens there. You know, I personally think that he's definitely not a super middle. I'm more of a super middleweight than him because he'd get in the ring about, at super middle, about 12'6", 12'7". But he naturally walks around at that. So, you know, I think that's... he needs to drop down to middleweight and campaign at that. But, you know, where do he go? I think he has to look at the British level now.
George Groves now move on to the finals with the World Boxing Super Series and will face either Bramer or Smith. Who do you have winning that fight for next weekend?
You know, I like Smith. He's got a good style. He's got a great style. But George Groves is the man in the final of all the experience of bad performances, losses, good wins, brilliant wins. You know, and you weigh all that up, he's going to be an hard man to beat. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a very hard man to beat, especially with the back of his head. He wins that. He's going to win the Ali Trophy. I mean, he's going to be a very hard man to beat. He can execute a good game plan and stick to that, as we've seen. So a man that listens to instructions like that in the corner it's going to be tough and difficult.
So do you favor George to win the Ali Trophy?
I slightly favour George, yeah. My money's on George to win it.
Now I want to talk about you and what's coming up for you. Obviously, we don't want to overlook your next opponent, Martin Murray, but we do have the big guys at the moment, Triple G and Canelo. Do you actually think that you're going to get that fight? Now, I spoke with Abel Sanchez while I was over in Russia, and he thinks that his concern is that you're going to make yourself too expensive to actually make the fight. If you were to get an offer, what would be a fair offer to face someone like Triple G?
Well, listen, what I signed the contract to fight him for last time, I signed to fight him again. And I was going to Kazakhstan. So that's no problem. I'll never ever price myself out. But what they need to realise is that they're only mentioning my name now just in case they get beat. And it's no good coming back to me and trying to cut my money by $1 million or something like that, because it won't happen. I'm earning good money as it is. Don't be wrong. Do I really, really need Golovkin or Canelo? No, but obviously I would love it because it's to see who the best is. I mean, it's not really about the money now. It's about, let's see who the best is. If they're worried about the money side of things, that only means one thing to me, that they're worried. No problem. I signed the fight for what I signed to go to Kazakhstan the first time. So they've got no worries about me pricing myself out. I personally think that, it's a tough job for Golovkin because first of all, he's got to beat Canelo. Then he's got to beat the judges and the ref, then Oscar De La Hoya. So, it's a hard job. It's going to be a very, very hard job. I would love to see Golovkin do it, but I just got a feeling that they might shaft him out of the decision again.
If he doesn't win the rematch, does that fight still interest you?
It does, but I'm champion then, so it goes on my terms. I think they need to understand that, but I've got a big job in front of me first with Martin Murray, because it's his last saloon, and he's definitely just not going to look at me and think, oh, away you go then, get in there and just give it a little go and quit. He's a fighter, he's a born fighter, and I think he's gonna come and he's gonna be a lot tougher than David Lemieux.
Billy, what do you make of people saying that you were running the whole night? I mean, obviously, I have to strongly disagree with that, but there's a lot of people that want to dismiss basically the beautiful work that you had against Lemieux. What do you have to say to them?
Listen, boxing is about when the art of boxing got made. Boxing was about hitting and not getting hit. And since I've been a little boy, that's all I've done is hit, not get hit. I mean, I had 86 amateur fights, never took a standing count, never been down in my life. I've won 26 professional fights, got from right to the bottom of the start, right to the top. So obviously I'm doing something right. I mean, look, if you want to stand there and get hit like David Lemieux, then you get results like that. You get beat. So my style is boxing, and I can mix it when I need to, but, I'll do what I need to do to win. So I've got a good record. I've got a very good track record at home. I haven't been beat in England since I've been 12 years old. So let's get Golovkin over, or, I know Canelo won't come over, but let's get Golovkin over and let's make the fight happen. And please God he wins, and we'll make all unification fight.
Now, you've said that you don't believe that Canelo will ever face you. Why is that?
I just think that, I'm not saying Canelo's scared, but his business advisors already said to Frank Warren that that's not going to happen, because, they're already looking at opponents after Golovkin for him now. I mean, Spike O'Sullivan's in the talk. So I know that they know that I'm all wrong for him. I thought Amir Khan was beating him until he got knocked out, and I know that I'm a lot better fighter than Amir Khan to the day as we stand.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I sure hope that fight gets made. Billy, what would you have to say to all of the naysayers, the haters? I know that you love it. I know that you're on social media sort of going back and forth with people. Seems like you sort of thrive off of it a little bit. It motivates you.
Listen, I've already said what I was going to do at the start of the year. At the end of this year, if Golovkin wins this fight, I will hold all the titles at the end of the year, 1,000,000%. I'm so sure of it. I just know it's in my destiny to do. So I know I'm going to do it. Sorry about that little interruption there. That was somebody interrupting our interview.
So basically, you have basically said that a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Where did you find this newfound love for boxing? Because for a moment there, you were ready to hang up the gloves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's one of them things, you know, you get a bit complacent, you get a little bit, you know, you just get a little bit bored, same as any job. And when you get bored in boxing, it's very dangerous, because if you get bored and you can't be bothered to go to the gym or can't be bothered to go for that run and put everything into it, you could get badly hurt. So I was really ready to, I was on the fringe of this saying, listen, I'm world champion, I've won everything coming through, I'm all right for money now, I'll just leave it. And that's what I had going through my head. But, you know, when I boxed in Scotland, I knew that was just terrible. And there's only a reason why, you know, I boxed like that, because I wasn't happy. So I thought I'd try to find happiness elsewhere. I thought I need a changed everything about. And then as soon as I hit Sheffield, it just clicked. It just like, boom, it all come back like when I just first started. And, you know, I'm back in love with it. And I've never, ever been in love with boxing as much as I am now. And, you know, I think I owe a lot to Dominic Ingle and the rest of the camp up here, because, you know, it's not, you're not on your own. You're a proper team. You're a proper squad. You know, everything's took care of. The only thing I need to worry about is the fighting and the boxing and get myself fit. And listen, I know on my night it'll take a very, very good man to untangle me.
I know that when you repeat stuff constantly, it can get a bit, you know, it's just repetitive. It can get old. But so what do you do to keep it exciting and different this time so where you don't get bored?
Well, I'm a very competitive person. And, you know, when I got the call for Willie Monroe, I thought, all right, well, that's a decent fight. I thought he's been in with some good names. I'll get in there and try to do a bit better than Golovkin and who else. But I got in there and I completely outboxed him. Then it was like David Lemieux. And when you get them sort of fights, you know, the names, that is, you want to put yourself against the best. And I don't like losing at anything. So there's no way am I going against these elite fighters and not training properly and not giving me all, because I don't want to get beat. I want to prove that I am the best. Perhaps when I win all the titles and all the belts, I always said when I'm 30 I'll give up. So perhaps at the Golovkin fight or at the Canelo fight, whatever it may be, when I'm 29 and I'm 30, or I will stick to my guns. I won't be in the sport to 32 or 33, because I reckon that's when people start dipping a little bit. And, you know, will my lifestyle last till I'm 33, 34? Probably not. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, but I love my food. So that's my biggest downfall.
What's your favourite food, Bill?
What's my favorite? I like a pizza.
Your weakness?
Pizza.
Pizza,
Yeah. Pizza or Indian.
Oh, I love a good curry.
Yeah, I love a good curry. You do get many good curries in America?
Yeah, I mean, not like it is out here, though. I mean, the selection is unreal. I love eating curry.
We have most of Indian living in England. That's the reason why.
You get that authentic experience.
Yeah, you do, yeah. Well, I must say, most Indians are gypsies anyway, so we work well with Indians. They make us good curries.
Billy, lastly, when you retire, what do you see yourself doing? Because if you're planning on retiring at 30, that's still really young. So what do you plan on doing with the rest of your life?
Do you know what? I mean, probably, you know, property or something like that. I mean, I do a bit now and that, and it's easy work. So, you know, but I'm far from done at the minute. I've still got 2 years. I mean, boxing at the minute is a pension fund to fund that. So I have to give everything to boxing at the minute. But probably that, yeah. That'll be my line of work when I finish.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I know you got to go and do some stuff at the moment. I appreciate you opening your home to Behind the Gloves.
The Galapad.
Final words?
No, it's been a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Very good, very professional. You need to do a bit of abs to stop them body shots sinking in for next time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye, Fight fans.
Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else